from another world. But that's not true, because they travel the four corners of the earth to let you know where to hang out, where to find the best food, the best drink, and the best time. This is the award-winning Travel Planners Radio Show with Kevin and Sue McCarthy, and they are definitely human.
Hey, it's Peter Greenberg here. You're listening to the Travel Planner Show with Kevin and Sue McCarthy, and don't say I didn't warn you.
Thank you, Peter. As we search the virtual networks to find things to bring to you on the Travel Planners Radio Show, Sue found a great one.
I can't wait, though, to have an opportunity to go there myself once this COVID thing is all over. We can travel again.
Exactly. Welcome, Sallie Clark from the Holden House Bed and Breakfast, a winner of the Inspector's Best of Housekeeping 2020. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us on the call this morning. We appreciate it.
You've been at this for a little while, I understand.
Yeah, my husband Welling and I have been operating the Holden House 1902 Bed and Breakfast Inn in Colorado Springs now we're into our 35th year. So I think we're last one standing that are still here when we started in Colorado Springs back in 1986. So
well, good for you.
It's been a long road, but you know, we've seen a lot of changes over the years.
Yeah. And exactly where is Colorado Springs?
Colorado Springs is about an hour south of Denver, Colorado. So we're in an area they call the Pikes Peak region.
Okay.
It's sort of south central Colorado, but along the Front Range, we have beautiful area, Garden of the Gods, the Olympic Training Center and Museum, as well as Pikes Peak, which is right kind of in our backyard. So
is that where the Air Force Academy is also?
It is. The U.S. Air Force Academy is one of our largest attractions, I guess I would say, and visitors flock to see the Falcons and our very proud military installations here in Colorado Springs area. There's 5 different military installations. So we're a military area, but we also have beautiful blue skies and gorgeous places to do outdoor activities.
You mentioned you started about 35 years ago, and that was about the same time I was offered the opportunity to buy a couple of acres of land next to a winery in America's first designated wine region here in Missouri, actually. And I was thinking about building an A-frame and starting a B&B. But at the time, I had a real job, and I thought, that's probably more than I want to do. Looking back on it, it's probably the smartest thing I never did. But it's quite how should I say, a unique profession to run a B&B, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really a labor of love for us to run our bed and breakfast. So we initially moved to Colorado from San Diego area, from Coronado, and opened a bed and breakfast in 1986 after a year's worth of restoration. The house was literally condemned. And so replaced the foundation, did extensive renovation to our main house, opened with just 3 rooms back then, back in 1986, had to go through all the zoning changes, everything with the city, because no one knew what a bed and breakfast even was.
Did you know it was condemned when you bought it? Just curious.
It truly, it was. It was a house that was just about falling down. And so we jacked it up and put a brand new foundation, redid all the systems within, and just opened with 3 rooms. And Wellington and I lived in the main building. And then eventually, over time, we added the house next door, our carriage house. And now we live actually right next door in a separate house. So we have 4 homes, 3 of which are part of the bed and breakfast. So it actually offers us a lot of flexibility long term, and our guests, I think, like the extra privacy of having separate buildings sometimes too. Sure. And it's actually helped us this year when the entire pandemic issue has taken place. It's allowed us to really do more social distancing and comply with regulations in the state and maintain and keep running while some have had to close.
Give the website for Holden House, because there's what you're talking about and how it was run down and everything reflects not at all for what it's like now. Yeah, exactly. It's gorgeous, beautiful, and I'd like our listeners to take a peek at your website.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just holdenhouse.com. That's HOLDENHOUSE.com. And if you go there, we not only, I've found that this year it's even more important to really put the information directly on your website, how we've managed to comply and make sure we're following the CDC guidance to keep guests safe and comfortable during this challenging, I think, health pandemic.
Yep.
In addition to having more information about the rooms and, what's going on in the area and what they can expect when they arrive here. And our occupancy the last couple of months has been up, and which I think is good for the recovery, and hopefully we're on the road to getting back to some sort of normal. But our guests can find all kinds of information, what there is to do in the area, as well as very good details about the Holden House, our restoration, our history, and why we think that we're, one of the best in the area.
Good for you. And after 35 years, I mean, I'm sure you've seen difficult times, not only with the coronavirus, et cetera, but how do you manage to keep up and smiling and making people happy? Because I know when you deal with the public, that isn't always easy. How do you feel you've lasted that long? What's the secret?
Well, I think the secret is too that we have been able to hire good assistant innkeepers, good people to help us run the inn, so that Welling and I are not doing the work every single day, but having folks that are working for us that have that same dedication to hospitality, to quality, to maintaining, immaculate accommodations, making sure that things are done appropriately, as well as having excellent food service, flexibility in our system. We've been able to, we've always done breakfast and suite options where people can eat in their rooms if they want, and we have comfortable seating areas and the ability for us to have guests eat in their rooms if they'd like. And I think that having that consistency over time and making sure that we keep good people hired to provide that high level of personalized service has made a difference. It really sets us apart. People, there's been the big craze of the Airbnbs. We're very different from an Airbnb, and I think that that's why people keep coming back, because they don't necessarily want to cook for themselves. They want someone else to do the dishes and someone else to...
Well, yeah, that's why you get away from the house. Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah.
Well, I found something that I like. Kevin is the foodie, but I found apple and cinnamon walnut French toast.
Oh, yeah.
And you give out your recipes.
Such a deal.
Yeah, we really do concentrate on our food. We monitor and make sure that we do a little bit different meal every morning. So every day you can count on having a delicious fruit sundae with yogurt topping, and then we do individual servings. So we don't do a buffet, which again during this time it's been actually a great benefit to be able to do that.
Sallie, we need to take a break. So when we come back, we'd like to speak with your husband as well. We're talking about the Holden House 1902 bed and breakfast, and we'll